I love that it gives me the option to leave.
Yeah.
It's like meetings like, do you want to go?
Not really. All right, let's see. Do that. I know that my audio can still be heard, but it's like I got a cool video going. Blah blah blah.
Beep, 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 beep.
I like it. All right, let's see. Now we go back to the. Hey, wait a minute. Go back to Zoom. Stop the share. Stop the share. And then welcome to Paint Club. I'm Rick. My name is Rick Strohmeyer, and I'm water soluble, along with our co-host.
It's so hard going second. Cat mom, because I still am being a mommy right now.
Oh, there you
Nicole,
go.
Matt
That sounds
Hattress.
sweet. That sounds sweet. So
Yeah,
let's see.
I love her.
It is October 2nd, and yeah. So we are back from a dead week. Nicole, how are you doing?
Better than you,
Well, there
which
we
is
go.
not often.
We have a sliding scale of how we're doing, and it's like Nicole on one side, Rick on the other. And there's still extremes on the spectrum, and apparently Nicole is feeling better than Rick on the spectrum, so we haven't figured out what the colors are, but that should probably be like the cool thing. All right, so we are back from a dead week. It doesn't feel like 2 weeks ago.
No,
but
you think it feels longer. I feel like it feels shorter.
I don't know. It does not feel like 2 weeks, and that's just because the last week I was sick, and just a lot went on, and I just feel like I time traveled through the dead week and wasn't able to get as much project stuff done. And yeah, so we got a little house. I'm gonna just call it housekeeping. We are making. I'm pretty much like dead set on the idea that we're just making the complete jump to YouTube without being the annoying YouTuber thing by constantly harassing people to subscribe, like, notify, whatever. I'm like,
I can't just yell it.
Well, you could, but I don't. I'm of the opinion that I'm using YouTube as a medium because just to hit a broader audience. But I think that having those 3 talking points at the beginning of every video or at the end or both is annoying as fuck. People will naturally want to follow it if they want to hear the non sequitur things, the non sequitorial things that we have to say. So yeah, November. I guess technically it should be this month, but November is going to mark our 1 year anniversary of doing this. So there'll probably be try and get a write up somewhere to promote that idea, and we may very well have special guests do something a little different when we come back.
Ooh, and we'll be at DCon together.
We will?
No. Are you?
No, no, I won't be at DCon. I'm sorry. No.
I got so sad. No, don't tell me that.
Well, I have my choice every year. There are a couple times where I was able to make, maybe once or twice.
What's the other choice?
5 points.
There is no 5 points this year.
June 4th through 5th, June 4th and 5th.
That's next year.
Yeah, but so I'm saying this year as in my time in the school year, right? So it's not a calendar year because, but like the district only gives me 4 or 5 days, and I have to use those sparingly. So I'm leaning. So I have 2 choices. I could go to Anaheim, or I could go to Brooklyn, and I'm leaning towards trying to find a booth buddy for Brooklyn, especially since I really don't have a lot of toys to go take to DCon right now. My show depleted a lot of my stock because, you know, it was all new stock for the show. And I have not, since I've come back, I've lost essentially 3 weeks worth of production because of being sick or just like having to go raise a barn in Wisconsin and just a few minor things. So
That's raising a
five-
barn.
so 5 points is a little more manageable because at the very least I can work through my spring break, and you know, like I said, finding a booth buddy to figure out like what I need to bring in terms of stock, displays, etc. See if I can go reach out to the person I was supposed to share a booth with the last time 2 times because we never did. We'll see if I can make that, or you know, so I'll be sad not to see everybody at DCon. Live streams. I'd be happy to see them, and it's on my birthday too, so it's nice to go. It would be nice to be able to celebrate my birthday in California, but Alicia treats me right when I stay home too. So
Fine. I'll blow out a candle at DCon for us.
thanks. So yeah, we're gonna, and that might be a little problematic, but we'll see like about who our guests are to do the November show, and that'll be cool. So we might end up only doing 2 shows for November, but that's all right.
We'll have Colin. We can have Colin for one of them since I'm staying at his house.
Oh, that's an interesting idea. All right, we'll float ideas. So other than that, you know, what are you drinking tonight?
Doesn't change.
Yeah, it sure does. Snapple.
Yeah, it does change. But no, tonight I'm just drinking iced tea.
There you go.
What you having since you're sicky?
Theraflu.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I don't know. This is I took a test and I'm negative, and so is my test result. But yeah, I took a test on Monday too, and didn't get the results back till for Wednesday. So not COVID, but it's pretty much the beginning of the year crud that I always get. Almost always it's a sinus infection. So
because children are disgusting.
Well, you know,
just say it, it's fine.
Even with the precautions of masks and whatnot and extra cleaning, it's like it just can't be avoided sometimes.
Kids are gross.
So last year, I think I could say I didn't get my fall sinus infection, but that's because we were all still under lockdown. So.
That's right. So you were working home last year. Man, I miss that.
I kind of do too. So there are things that I like about being in the building to do, but there are a lot of things I like doing about making videos and just, I don't want to say phoning it in, but I was phoning it in, but it just not as
in the literal
like literally,
sense.
but it's not like as the literal and not the derogatory. Like, oh, I'm just, you know, I had some fun things to do at home with making videos for the kids, and the district had set up you know, the special ed folks that I worked with, they pretty much like they had a job board for us to do tasks and whatnot, and people were plucking stuff off that for things to do, and I didn't look at that jobs board once because it was like they're like, we're going to trust you to do things that would be useful for the kids, but if you need something to do, here's the job board. And I never had to look at that, so I was pretty pleased about being a self-starter. I'm not patting myself on the back. I'm just like, cool.
I am.
You know, it was flexing. So we're back from a dead week, and that means homework. So my homework has already been shipped to a very nice collector. So I have a couple pictures to share with it. So Nicole, I'll let you go first while I stumble about my computer to.
Well, everyone knows that Rick is like way better at everything than I am. So.
Wow. Bullshit. So
No, bullshit. Nice. But okay, so this will go into this will start a topic for later. I don't do Inktober's for specific reasons.
we'll get into that later. I'm going to write that down.
Yeah. But I follow other prompts that people make. And I follow one called Peachtober for the last 2 years. And the first prompt was tulips. And I did 2 of them ahead of time. So I'm actually going to be doing the homework theme for all of the prompts. I'm going to try to. And the first one is tulips. So I did a little bit of orange and green and purples.
Yeah. Hold it up closer.
Oh,
There you go. Yeah. I like how you accent your orange. Yeah, that's cool. All right. Let's see. We got.
what do you have, Uncle Rick?
I'm getting there. Just trying to.
I'm sorry, Godfather Rick.
Whatever. All right. So I had a Tech 6.3 that I was painting up for somebody, and I used the red, yellow, blue, and this was the first pass with all the colors. The blue is pretty much all established, and I shared it with her, a work in progress, and she was like, okay, well, that's all right. And so like this was it after I juiced it up, gave it a second, third pass of colors. So I was pretty pleased with that.
Okay.
The red's a little subdued. It's really transparent or translucent. So it just generates a purple or violet. And yeah, it looks, it's a play off the infrared. On occasion, I've painted things with an infrared color scheme, and she bought the Megatech that was at Robin's Nest block party show, and she wanted a 6-inch to match it, but she wanted her own color scheme. But she wanted to keep the blue, so we talked about different ideas on colors, and these were the colors that we worked on, and here it is in its glorious black light. Nope, not that one. Oh, shit, I'm bad. God dang it. Well, there's part of it in this glorious black light, and yeah, I'm pretty pleased.
You have permission to fuck this up because you're sick.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I have the revised blacklight colors in another folder. I can't grab them right now because there's some other stuff. There's some sensitive stuff I don't need to show. So sorry guys, but yeah, it's cool in blacklight.
Sorry guys.
Sorry guys, but you get to see like the first blacklight picture.
You know what's funny? I was telling my dad that you, Colin, and I all had the same brainwave when it came to like the idea of our mad cans for the show. We all did a movie theme.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, mine's Alice in Wonderland. Yours is Jurassic Park, and his was The Grinch.
Yeah. Okay.
And I was like, Jesus! It's like we all like.
There you go.
We all just went, you know, it's a good idea. Movies.
Well, okay, so I don't like to do licensed. There's the actual finished.
I know you don't. That's why I was like, this. That's why I brought it up to him, because I was like, it's a weird thing.
So like,
I love it.
People liked. I'm gonna toot my own horn a little from the show. People liked the.
This is me doing it for you.
Thanks. So we had at my show, I had some Star Wars inspired pieces where if I didn't tell you they were based off of the X-Wings, you wouldn't know it. But once it's said, like, oh yeah, you can see the patterns, you can see the color choices, etc. And it's a nice subtlety. So I had a guy reach out to me, ask me if I could do a Jurassic Park themed one with the same mentality on a Mad Can. And I said, sure. And I started playing out on his, and I was like, wow, this is a really good idea. And so I reached out to the collector and I said, hey, do you mind if I do I use the same concept of Jurassic Park, but do it with this for New York Comic Con. He's like, oh, no, that's cool. I'm glad I'm inspiring you to do something. So like,
Yay.
so my piece for New York Comic Con, it's set up like that, and just like the X-Wings. And you got your Mad Can available, or did you already send it out?
It's drying over in the other room, varnished.
I don't remember if I showed my Mad Can last.
You didn't show it done last time.
I didn't. Oh, well, then I'll show it this time. Let me go grab it.
I'll post a picture of it tomorrow when I take it off the table.
Very cool. So here's my crap.
For a while, it looked like Peppa Pig. Me and my friend were making fun of this. It looked like Peppa Pig for a long time. And then at first it looked like a wolf. And then when I got the pink on, or I put the nose on it, then it looked like fucking Peppa Pig. And my friend and I always like say that Peppa Pig looks like a penis. So then I was getting very upset about it. And then I know. And then the purple stripes helped it a long way. But putting the tail on it is what made it go.
Cheshire Cat.
Yes. And the glowing eyes and the glowing teeth.
Mm.
And sculpting a tail that wasn't going to make it go like this was very hard.
There you go. So here's a mine.
God, I love it so much.
Jurassic Park themed, with the Jeep as the vehicle for that instead of. I won't tell you what I was commissioned to do, but there's not many vehicles in Jurassic Park. So that's mine. And there's the other side, and there's the back. I have a little bloody handprint coming down. I was really judicious, or I was really, I was very giving when it came to blood effects. I was just like, put it all over the place. And then you put a UV reactive light over, or UV reactive varnish over top of it, so that in the black light only the blood shows. So kind of cool.
So good.
So then I have a shark bomb that's going to be there too, and
I'm so excited for that.
So I painted it the
That's
same
Stormy
way.
Bolt, right?
No, this is Martian Toys.
Okay.
So both of these are with Martian Toys, and then here's my Stormy Vault piece. So I took the Huck G Skullhead Cyclone, painted it up with the DVA color scheme from Overwatch, gave it a weathering effect, and I was pretty pleased with the way that came out.
I like it.
So here's it under the black light.
So good, and you can kind of still like it's not like you can't actually see the skull through it, but it looks like you could, and like you know how like your brain plays tricks on you with like visual shit like that. The way that glows, it like you could visualize seeing like a skull being like so dope, so dope.
Thanks. Well, the visor does come up, and you can see the skull head. I did not take a picture of that, but like very much, I told Alex of Stormy Vault, because we know a bunch of Alexes, that like just leave the helmet, leave it down, or leave the visor down, because it's the big accent for the piece. The character is not visible when you look at the actual DVA character. You don't, the windshield is transparent enough to where you can see the suggestion of a character, but you don't see the character much until like she stands out of it. So like just leave it down, and then like under the black light you have this amazing pop with the pink. So yeah, so
I'll take pictures of it on Thursday, because I might go. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
I was very happy to. I was like a little. I was disappointed that my shit was late to both things, but very grateful when I got confirmation that they both everything showed up. Yeah, like, man, I'm not normally late, but the past half year, I've been late on getting some stuff to shows, and
I feel like a
that
lot
habit.
of people have.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm like, that habit's got to change. So get out of that habit. So let's see. So I have this vision. I don't know whenever this will get done, but I have this vision for the future of this show. To one day, I would like, I don't know what the technology is. Let me float the idea by, and somebody watching has the idea and they want to help make it a reality. Great. If they want to steal the idea, shame on them. But so I would love to have, or I have this idea that I would love to run an episode of this show, and maybe it's an April Fool, maybe it's an April Fool's joke in the making one day, where visually, instead of seeing our mugs, we have like, what do you want to call it? Not clip art, duty free or old vintage footage running. The way I have the Zoom meet set up is and set up the Zoom meet to where whoever's speaking, that's what pops up, instead of like having a gallery the way we should be viewing it now. So our voices are our voices on this, but visually I would love to have like whatever B-roll, or what do you want to call it? Something that's duty free. And like, let's say you're the archival Penguin footage, and I'm Cowboys and Indians or whatever, some silent movie. So every time I'm speaking, the silent movie shows up, but you get my voice. And then whenever you're talking, penguins show up, right? So it just looks like you're flicking between channels. And I know this is not, I don't think this is a new concept. I think it would be funny to do, maybe more entertaining.
It's so weird.
So thank you. But it's like, that sounds fun.
I like it.
So I don't know how that's done. And maybe it might
Of course,
just
I'm like, yes, let's do it.
right. So
I feel like I'm so naive that my brain, like, or at least when it comes to like the things that you suggest, because I'm always like, yeah, that's great. You could be like, oh, we're gonna go jump off a roof, and I'll be like, all right, hold on, like, I'll be right there.
Like, I think about projects that I would have loved to have done when I was in college, if I had like the imagination or the concepts now, but with the resources that I had in college. Because I wouldn't say they were limitless, but it was pretty much like, if you could think of something, if you could think of something that you wanted to do in printmaking, my professor had an answer, or if he didn't have an answer, he would point you in very much the right direction in terms of who on campus would. And I freaking love that. And I clearly, I didn't utilize it as much as I think I could have, but of course, you know, the hindsight rearview mirror is always 2020, right? So yeah, we are on October 2nd, and that is, in theory, there are people who participate in the internet phenomenon known as Inktober, and I didn't do it last year for whatever reasons, and I was thinking I'd do it last night, and I started like a scribble with an idea that I would do like one line per day of the year, or a day of the month. So October 1st, I would just do a drawing with only utilizing one line, and whenever I lift the pen up, that's when it's done. Conceptually, I thought that was fun. However, I guess it was last year I heard something about using the hashtag Inktober, and I'll let you continue in on that.
So I don't know if it's the hashtag and whatever you do, or if it's the prompt itself, but I know that if you follow their prompts, they try to claim monetary, like, possession, or monetary possession over them.
I disagree with that. So what the hell?
I think everybody does.
That's a way to kill an idea quick by monetizing it and like just saying, oh, you have like the idea of saying like Disney saying, well, you have 3 circles that are really close together. That's Mickey Mouse. Give us money. So yeah. The mouse used to be really bad about it. I don't know how bad the Disney company is nowadays. It seems like not as bad as it was 20 years ago, but I maybe I'm just not up to date on Disney suing the shit out of people. But 20 years it was pretty bad. If you put 3 circles close enough together and it didn't matter what the ratio was, they were looking at you.
I know that they take off like anything on Etsy,
Mm-hmm.
like with their licensing and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't follow Inktober prompts anymore ever since I followed that. So I know like, Mab Graves has one. I know Camilla DiRico has one. Who else has one? The one I'm using, which is Furry Little Peach. Oh god, there's a bunch of them. There's even Drawtober. Like
Right.
literally anything to like avoid the hashtag and their prompts. And I today and yesterday I've been warning all of my friends who have been like hashtagging. I'm like, don't do it, because if you want to sell it,
Got that Batman slapping Robin's meme going on. Hashtag ink.
like, I mean, if you're like just sketching it for like your own sketchbook, whatever, but like I know that for a lot of people, they try to sell them afterwards because they put like a lot of effort into them, and a lot of people do them well in advance, like because the prompts come out like I think like a few weeks ahead of time. I know like for Peachtober, like they've been posting about them for at least 3 weeks, which is why I did Tulip ahead of time. And I was like, people put in work, and if they want to sell it, that's kind of fucked to be like, excuse me, but since we had the idea,
it's hard. That's hard to like say. Like we're gonna yeah. That's you're reaching where you found a lawyer that's figured out like how to pick pockets.
Agreed.
And it's like, I don't know. It seems like a hell of a way to besmirch yourself, but wow. Well, what can I say?
That's the hill that they're choosing to die on.
Right. Well, let's go forward a little. What's been your weekly background sound?
Oh, okay. So I have, because you know me, I like to listen to like weird TV shows or weird podcasts and stuff. I have, well, one of them, I thank God it was dubbed instead of subtitled.
Okay.
But I watched it / listened to Squid Game.
Oh.
And I watched / mostly listened to because I was painting like the rest of my Cheshire Cat can. God, what was it? Midnight Mass on Netflix. That shit is fucked up and it's great. It's great. And if you were raised in any kind of religious way, it's fucking amazing.
When it's on Netflix?
Yeah. I feel like you'd be like,
wow. And that would require Netflix to go down below $9.
oh God, I'll just
because I got rid of Netflix, and they every once in a while they're like, "Oh, we'd like you to come back for this and this." I'm like, let me know when you're under $9, because if you've offered, if your service is like $15 now, when your first email was for 13, and then your 14th, 15th email is now $10. Let me know when it gets down to 9, and we'll think about it. Like, it's
I'll
clearly
let you borrow my life.
well, might be maybe. But I feel like if you're going to try and get a customer back by offering it half the rate, maybe. But I mean, like, I'm going to give a shout. I'm going to give a shout out to HBO Max right now, because at least on the app. So I run it through the app on my iPad, and the app itself allows you to cancel the subscription instead of having to go like sacrifice a goat by navigating whatever weird Apple maze Apple normally has for its shit. So um, I'm canceling it in about in 2 weeks. So I'm like, man, this was freaking easy. So slightly impressed by that. Yeah, slightly impressed by that. It's like Disney Plus takes a little bit of effort to cancel. And when I ran last time I had HBO, I ran it through Amazon, and it was a pain in the ass to get to cancel it. So this is my first time running HBO Plus, and I was pretty pleased at that. So little minor victory for a consumer, right?
Yeah.
So I have Lita Ford. I was listening to Lita Ford this week when I was airbrushing.
Nice.
What a blast from the past. But
That's
I have
fucking
not.
epic.
It is.
Love her.
But I've not done a lot of painting, so I haven't done a lot of listening. But I've done a lot of watching of YouTube and stuff. And I watched The King of Random a lot the past 2 days because, like, whatever they do, it's random and it's fun, and they have a pretty decent production quality. But there's a dude I watched thanks to, well, actually, I guess there's two on my list that have been recommended from the Craftsman or from Steady Crafting, that I've taken a shine to. One's called Dustin Crops Boy, where the guy does like big ass props or does props and prop restoration and things like that. And apparently he came into my feed once when I was looking up the Minnesota State Fair, and this guy was doing like having some show pieces in a show, and turns out he's actually a local dude that is that he owns a vintage shop about 5 blocks from the maker space that I like to use. So
really?
Yeah, it's like
that's
incredibly
cool.
Small. Yeah, so incredibly small world. So and I like his production value or his production stuff. He doesn't just turn on a camera and do live streaming from YouTube. But like all these people that I've mentioned today, Dustin Crops Boy, King of Random, the Craftsman, and Cajun Crafter, these guys like to put in a lot of production value, and it's pretty cool. Like I've heard, anyway, so I'm not, but they do a lot of cool stuff. I like their production, and I like their flair. King of Random is not exactly the most flair thing, but like they set a fucking chocolate fountain on fire. They were running, they got like 3 different food fountains, and then they ran different things through through them. Like they were like, oh, we've seen people do this on the internet. Our fans have said like, well, what if you ran this, and this through it? So they decided to do that. So they ran a ketchup through one of those food fountains. They had to dilute it some so that it would actually go up the screw and come down. And they had to water it down because ketchup was too damn thick. But then they did teriyaki sauce, and they did hand sanitizer so they could take it outside and light it on fire. And it looked kind of neat, but like, yeah. But Cajun Crafter is kind of fun because he's like, the guy he pulls the same stunt that the Craftsman does, where he doesn't actually show himself on camera. He has a puppet or some stop animation thing represent himself and his dad, and as they talk, and it's kind of fun. But there were a couple times, and I'm just going to segue straight into somebody else's painting from here. There were a couple times while watching it, he had shared like this painter called Molly Maguire, Magwire, and he had and the times that he had said her name, he had said my wife, blah blah blah, paints these things, and it took me like 2 or 3 times to actually decide, let's go on Instagram and see what the hell he's talking about. And so his wife, Molly Maguire, likes to paint. Her paintings look like
those are cool.
vintage circus posters. And she's done a lot of cool stuff with her style and her technique. And I've just got a handful of paintings to show off. If you want to continue to check her out on her Instagram, it's Molly Maguire, Magwire. I found these few, and there are more, but I found her by just doing a Google image search, typing Molly Maguire. Don't let it autocorrect for McGuire. It's Maguire, and put artist there, and you'll find her stuff immediately. Really cool. One of the videos that the Cajun crafter was talking about was her method. I think it was him. Was her method of painting and how she mixes colors, where a lot of the time she doesn't mix black into a color to make it darker. She uses a complementary color from across the color wheel to neutralize and create like its darkest tones, and then she spreads it. She has that dark tone and it spreads out to the regular hue, and then from that regular hue she mixes it with white, so she has both ends of both parts of her value scale all on her palette. And she uses oils, so she's able to, like, it's easier with oils to mix up your scale, your value scale, than it is acrylics, because oils take longer to dry. You can fake it on a wet palette, but yeah. So pretty cool stuff. Go check her out. Looks cool. Mally, Matt, and and you know, I'm from Texas, so I say my vowels differently. But for a name like that, where people would just assume, and Google would assume you're saying like McGuire, like, no, I'm going to actually just Maguire to make sure I get all my fucking letter sounds out there. So
Maguire.
Ta fucking da. Yeah. So there we go. I didn't have a technique of the week this week. I apologize, but I'll tell you how to fake it while you're sick. How about that?
Yes.
Like, here's my technique of the week. If you're sick and you have an airbrush, you still need to get something painted, base coated. Put a cough drop on, put your respirator on, all those fumes go everywhere. You'll feel like $1 million while you're spraying. And like, my hand has not been steady enough to do anything with the paintbrush in the past week, but I put in a menthol lozenge, put on the respirator, and then spray, and everything feels like pretty cleared out and good to go. So, ta-da.
Now that I have the compressor set up, I think I need an airbrush.
But you already got one. We're just looking at it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you should have your iWater, right?
Yeah. I gotta go find that. Thank God they used. I would have been.
Well, behold my stuff.
That's honestly what that room looks like at this point, with like all of the things like that I have to go through, like, because you know me, I don't have just like paint and this and this. I have a bunch of different resins for a bunch of different kinds of like needs. I have my tools and stuff in there because I don't have like a garage or anything like that. Everything is in that room. I have all of my tools. I have the compressor. I have the pot. I have everything. All of that in that room, and I have no clue where anything is.
You know,
Cheers.
Adam Savage. Here's going to be, so I have like, we're going to do a hack instead. Adam Savage on his YouTube channel, Tested. He has some cool storage hacks that might be useful for you. I don't want to say might actual, but might be useful for you. One of his hacks, he has these like A-frame shaped shelf units that are on walls. They're not, I don't know, yeah, I guess they're shelf units, but he keeps stuff on these. So, and they're on wheels so that he can move them wherever he needs to. But, like it's not meant, it's meant to be pulled out. And because the profile is an A, and I suppose you could do it this straight up right too, but his philosophy is about being able to reach or see things from both sides, that you don't put something in a drawer and forget about it, because he's of the opinion that drawers are where tools go to die and be forgotten. So which is why my setup looks like this, because then I don't have to go looking through drawers, except I have random totes that I'm like, all right, they're unlabeled and I think something is in this pile. I like have half a dozen boxes over here that are just they're clear totes, but I'm like, well, this one has all Quicks parts, this one has all kid robot stuff, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
But like when going through all my dad and my grandfather's stuff after they died, it was like, God dang, what in the hell do they have? Because just all unlabeled shit in drawers and boxes, et cetera, et cetera. And not like I'm preparing for somebody to do that to me too, but like I'm doing it for myself, like let's have, the one thing I hate most, besides yelling and screaming, is not being able to find something. And like when my brother and I were younger, my dad would yell at us about like not putting his shit back where it goes, right? And I never really appreciated that until I was in college, and we're all using the same shared space in the printmaking lab. And when I can't find like a fucking squeegee or the key to the pressure spray or something, would just piss me off. So like slowly but surely, I would make like little silhouette things for where shit should go. Even though my professor had the room pretty much organized, but he didn't go to the level of detail that I was thinking we need. Not that I want it, because like I don't fucking have that here. But in a shared environment, that kind of stuff's really nice. Like the maker space here, they ended up deciding they decided to do that for the big like hand tools in the wood shop, like, and that has improved people putting shit back where other people can find it dramatically. And little things.
I want to like redo the shelves and stuff because, like, as you know, I wasn't technically I wasn't supposed to live here, and everything that was in the art room was like inherited shit. So it was like actual like dressers. So I mean, and it it worked. It was just okay, well, I don't need to buy anything. It's just dressers. And then I had this like nice I don't really know how to explain it. It was shelving, but like it wasn't a hard shelf. It was kind of like a canopy plastic type thing on each shelf. And then my cat walked on it and broke it. Like she broke through it because she's fat and she just fell right through it. And I was like, okay.
There at the time?
Huh?
Were you there at the time to hear the crash?
Yeah, I heard it. And then I went in there.
That is the worst as a homeowner.
And all I could think was like, okay, this is so stupid. I want something that's like visible like that, because that's what those were. Those were visible, and I had all of my like, resin molds on it and stuff like that. And I knew like what was on each shelf. I knew who was in each one, like what what brand was where. But the drawers, I'm always like, what the fuck's in this one?
Right.
And I try to put like something on top of it to represent what's up there inside. And at that point, it's like, bitch, just gotta look at open space. And they're really hideous, like green and unnecessary. Like there's no point of them. But it was like a make do type thing.
Oh yeah. So like this corner is new. I have like another corner of my room, my studio, that looks kind of like this. And the other corner is what I did first about 2 years ago. And I was like, oh, I really like that. And of course, by that time, this room actually had like 4 stations to it. It had a painting station, and then behind me was a drawing station. And then I had a little sculpting station over here. And then over there, I had my sewing machine set up and da da da. And then I just decided, like, all right, I don't do as much of this anymore. So, like, I can put this away, or I can consolidate my workspaces, and then I could have like stuff come out and like whatever displays when I'm doing something. So, like, my sculpting tools are now over where my sewing machine used to be, but all the tools I use are invisible totes, so that when I need to sculpt something, I have a big ass table on wheels that I'll just, that becomes the auxiliary storage dump, but also workspace. Because like there's been like 5 times in the past 3 months where the table has been cleaned off, but like it's a horizontal surface in my house, so it becomes storage. You know, so like it's my family curse. All horizontal surfaces become storage, not actually used. And like, but you know, when I clean it off, last time I cleaned it off, I was on Booze and Buddies for right before my show, and they were all like, "Oh, thanks for taking the time to come," and I'm like, "Thanks for having me," because it gave me a reason to clear off this fucking table. Because I didn't want to. Because the idea of Booze and Buddies, one of the many ideas of Booze and Buddies is that you get to have like a little, you get to have some things to sell right then and there as you're talking to Alex and Fett for 4 hours. And so I rigged up my iPad to be the camera for Instagram, and my table was in front of me sprawling, so I had everything set up on this 3x3 foot table, and it looked like a con surface, sort of, just like all the little pieces all around. I was like, well, there you go. Da, da, da. And I was like, yeah, thanks for having me clean my fucking table. And now I'm like, I need to be on Booze and Buddies again because my table's dirty.
Hint.
Nah, it's cool. So like New York Comic Con's coming up next week.
It is.
And you know, this is a weird fucking time for the economy. And so like you and I have stuff and shows at Stormy Vault or Martian Toys, and good luck to those folks. And I also would like to, I got at least 3 buddies I can think of right now that will all have stuff or dealings at New York Comic Con. So like our buddy Angel,
Yes.
who's good luck to you, man. If you don't know folks, find him at Red Guardian on Instagram. Our buddy Alex, also known as Playful Gorilla, and at Playful Gorilla on the Instagram. And our buddy Clav at Clav9 on Instagram. They're going to have cool stuff. We're not paid by these folks, but they're our buddies. And I can't wait to see like more and more New York Comic Con posts come out in the next few days. Like I'll share my pieces too, and you know, those who get to make it and have their booths. And there are some folks who are just doing like this for the first time or having their booths at the first time. And
yes.
It's like, holy shit, good luck to you, man. Like, go, man, go. And I think it was Angel that said sometime on Facebook a while ago, he's like, this quarantine has shown who has the most hustle. And he's absolutely right on that. You know, people who took advantage of the idea of being like stuck at home to do whatever, more power to you. And this is exciting to watch.
I really hope I can go on Thursday and say hi to everyone.
That would be cool.
Yeah, I would.
That would be cool. When are you going to Designer Con? Or like, when's the plan to take off? Like, how many days before? Designer Con's what, the 12th through the 14th of November, right?
Yeah, I'm going to be with Colin like way before that.
Okay.
Just because we're a drive down there, and I forgot what day the hotel is for. But I'm going to be with him like at least a week beforehand.
Very cool.
Yeah. We're flying to San Fran, and then him and I are going to fly down together.
Cool. That is exciting. Well,
Look at this. Wait, sorry. I don't know why I just
Sure.
decided to take this out. I bought wire so I could sculpt something. This thing is like a little accordion.
very
Yeah. And that's how much I'm a child.
That's all right.
I'm sitting there doing this. God help us.
It's old.
You should drink something more than Theraflu, though. Maybe
No,
take a shot.
I really cannot because I'm now on a new steroid for my back. So
Oh,
I'm not gonna interact to that. They told the doctor was like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna recommend you start it on Saturday because blah blah blah. And I started it yesterday, and I have a buddy or a coworker that he has back issues too. And I gave him some very stout advice when after like he and I exchanged information. and the big advice was like, this dude's like 15 years younger. All right. And I was and a former athlete. And I was like, yeah, just watch your dietary intake because like your body may say, hey, we're used to this, but your body's also saying, no, we can't. And the weight because of the inactivity, because your back says, I can't work the way we used to. People will have a tendency to put on weight,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's counterproductive to trying to nurse a back, right? And he's done incredibly well in the past 9 months to heed that. And when I re-injured my back in May or April, I was like, all right, got to take my own damn advice, and have lost weight because of that, just to make sure that I don't let it go over. Right. So under is fine. And well, I had a target goal to make for the show, and I didn't make it. But part of me says, like, if I had been more active in like walking the dogs and doing this, that, and the other, instead of just what I did do, I probably would have made it. But I'm not fussing. So my clothes fit better than they have in a year.
Yeah.
So like that's fine. But yeah, I ended up. So the doctor told me start this on Saturday, and I started it yesterday, and I was like by 8 or 9 o'clock, I'm like at work, like wanting to bite through a steel wall. I'm like, well, we're gonna make it through the day, and then we'll see how it goes. And just like, cool. I've had more energy, and less desire to sleep, even though I'm fucking tired and sick. So it's like it's like trying to make one aquarium that's both freshwater and saltwater. So that's been exciting. And
It sounds super thrilling.
it's super thrilling. So my doctor's visit this week was on the phone because of quarantine procedures, and that's how they're doing it nowadays. But then he's like, and at the very beginning I was like, I appreciate the idea that I had a phone in, so I didn't have to deal with traffic or anything. But I'm like, I bet you want to see have a picture or two of my back. He's like, yeah, we're gonna have to schedule that and do this. And I'm like, yeah, I bet I'm paying an extra copay because I'm having 2 doctors instead of 1.
Yep.
So yeah. But
I've had specialists my whole life, if it makes you feel any better.
no, it doesn't make me feel any better.
I know it's not a real if it makes you feel better, but it's I feel you. I'm sending you love from afar.
Connection. That's what we encourage the second graders in one of the classrooms. If you have a connection to make, instead of just blurting out and being rude, you just hold up your little connection so that. And I'm like, man, I do that now because I'll just be a fucking interruptus maximus. So I'm just like, all right, well, Nicoletta, we have burned through an hour. So we're gonna close it up, and I'm gonna go cough out a lung. And so tell
And
the
I'm gonna
good
go
folks.
take care of my cat.
Oh, there you go.
She's doing
tell-
she's doing this because her mouth hurts. She doesn't know how to chew on it yet, so she's like,
Oh, that's sad. That's sad. So tell the folks. This is like the only thing that I agree with any of the YouTubers is like to plug yourself at the end. So tell the good folks where they can find you when we're not smoking it up on the stream.
Instagram the dot mad Patricks.
There you go. And I'm on Instagram at Rickstroh, RICSTROH. We're here for the good vibes, and we'll see y'all later.